On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough Black Talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Hour Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from everybody. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Ancestral line.
Standing strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough Black Talk Worldview. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tears that fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain, bound together like a chain. Thorough Black Talk Worldview. With Brother Tad, Sister K, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak Smith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Blak Smith will be joining us shortly, family. I hope you've had a good week thus far. A lot has happened this week. More attacks, racial assaults, I should say, on Black Americans all throughout the country. You got the Urban Reads bookstore in the state of Maryland, I believe, who are receiving death threats. You have circuit court judges who are being pulled over by them folks and think they can get away with anything. We'll get into all of that. Also, we had the 100th Earth Day of the great ancestor, Malcolm X, Brother Omawali. So we're going to get into that. I know a lot of you went on the yearly pilgrimage, I should say, to upstate New York to visit his grave site. And for those of you who don't know, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad is also up there as well. So we'll get into that. I know Brother Ray posted a lot of videos and photographs, so we're going to pull his videos and photographs and take a look at them. I want to give a shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club. Shout out to each and every one of you who tuned in to check out our brother Trust Graham, who went all the way in, family, all the way in on the legacy of Malcolm X. And if you missed it, I'm telling you. Anyway, you can catch the replay on the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page, and I guarantee you will learn something that you did not know before. So shout out again to the VK William Mackey History Club, along with our brother Trust Graham, who we have to get on this platform pretty soon. But, as I started, let me get some shout outs real quick. Sister Donna, Brother Kurt Wynn, Alabama. What's good, family? How are you? Stop playing. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County, always on the check-in. Y'all better stop playing. Here go to double trouble. Alabama is double trouble. Sister Farnessa, what's happening, sis? What's happening? You see people still trying to start trouble over there on your spot on TikTok. They still trying to start trouble, but, maybe I thought if I write it down and read it, the things that Brother Tad and myself were expounding upon within the last few shows, maybe I should write it down and read it. So I did just that. So we'll get into that a little later. Sister Almanette too, the Midwest crew, and also family. Remember I said we're going to have a course on genealogy, lineage, how you can research your family. It's coming. I just got to work out a few more kinks, and it's coming. Also, shout out to Sister Brooke, always on the check-in. We about to have a slew of foundational Black American long sleeves, short sleeves, hoodies, all of that. It's on the deck. I completed, I think 10 more designs today. So it's in the works. We're going to be rocking heavy this summer. We not playing. Yes, sis. But I want to start out with a quick speech by Malcolm X, and then we'll come right back in and bring my brother Tad, the OG Wisdom.
Us that during slavery, the same slave master who owned us put his last name on us to denote that we were his property. So that when you see a Negro today who's named Johnson, if you go back in his history, you'll find that he was once his grandfather, or one of his forefathers was owned by a white man who was named Johnson. His name is Bunch. His grandfather was owned by a white man that was named Bunch.
Would you mind telling me what your father's last name was?
My father didn't know his last name. My father got his last name from his grandfather, and his grandfather got it from his grandfather, who got it from the slave master. The real names of our people were destroyed during slavery.
Was there any line, any point in the genealogy of your family when you did have to use the last name? And if so, what was it?
The last name of my forefathers was taken from them when they were brought to America and made slaves. And then the name of the slave master was given, which we refuse. We reject that name. It teaches us that during slavery, the same slave master who owned us put his last name on us to denote.
You gotta remind folks sometimes. You gotta remind folks. But I want you to remember this particular speech, because it's going to tie into something that we are working on later on for the show. Now, some of you have last names that belong to American Indian tribes. I'm going to show you. I'm going to give y'all some nuggets tonight. Okay? Put your last name in the chat, and I'm going to show you what tribe you possibly belong to. But Before we get any further, let me bring in the OG Wisdom Podcast. My brother Tad in the building. What's good? How are you?
Can you hear me, sis? Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
All right. I'm doing good. Happy Malcolm X week. All the good things that come along with it. Yeah, I'm feeling glad to be back.
I see Brother Ray was out there. I know Sister Marcia was out there. Shout out to Dr. Filet. She was out there as well. But I want to show some photographs so our people who live across the shores, in different states, were not able to attend. They may want to see the 100th birthday of the great Malcolm X. This is from Brother Ray in the BK William Mackey History Club. A lot of people were out there getting off the bus.
Big ups to Essex County coming out. Big ups to Essex County coming out with a big Coach USA bus. Essex County, Jersey in the house. Trust Graham, African Echo Study Group in the house. Big ups. Brother Ray from the William Mackey Jr. History Club taking the pictures of the game. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Dope.
Sister Pan Africa. Dr. Filet on the check-in.
Rest in peace, brother. Let's go,
Nice. There goes Sister Marcia.
Photo
Brother Ray. And Sister Pam Africa.
Dope.
There you go. Thorough Black Talk. You never know who we gonna be. We everywhere.
Represent our ancestors, represent Brother Malcolm, but also represent his mother, Sister Ella, and all the women who we know survived brothers over the years. We're here today to say we are in fact the seeds of Brother Malcolm, and we shall, from our womb, bring forward the next generation. We say we are the seed of God. We must move forward.
Friends out of Haiti.
So just a few images and things, videos. Shout out again to Brother Ray and BK William Mackey History Club for taking those shots and videos. And of course, our sister Marcia will be in here as well. Brother Tad, anything special you did for the Earth Day of Malcolm X?
Just reflected. You know, it was so crazy. I didn't even make posts about it or anything. I think a lot of times, I often say on this show, we're literally making history. 2 of my children graduated,
Taylor!
Yeah. My son Khaled got his bachelor's and my daughter Tati got a master's. And I'm just so proud. And, coming from our background, Sister Keisha, things like this is humbling because I often remind people who may not know my story, when I was outside, and I mean all the way outside, when I was in the courts, when I was in the streets fighting, I always said that y'all not gonna stop me from meeting my grandchildren. Y'all not gonna stop me. Nobody's gonna stop me from seeing my children grow and be productive people. And just to watch that, to really shape your life in the direction you want it to go, to be working with you, and so many dope people in the movement. It's just humbling. And I'm coming up on the 4th year of my mother's transition. So, taking it all in, just grateful. I know my mother's on the other side looking, smiling, the conversations we used to have before she transitioned, and thinking about my hero, Malcolm. Is that me? Yeah, yeah, airplane flying by. Like, it's all that noise, right? But with Malcolm is one of the people that, in fact, I would say he's the person that let me know I could make a transition from the streets to consciousness, to be the best self that I can be as a black man. Just because I was out there wilding out, bugging out, doing all the wrong things because I had all the wrong information. But once I got the right information, I was able to change the trajectory of my life and make the right decisions. And Malcolm was the embodiment of that, our shining black prince. He's the perfect what can I say? He's the perfect example of a black man's redemption and transition. And that's one of the things I try to share with people. Just because you jammed up right now don't mean it have to stay this way. Because what I'm noticing, coming from the hood, being part of that, some of our people don't think they can do better because their parents weren't doing their best. So they're not encouraged to do their best. You still got teachers and employers and such a negative environment around you telling you that you can't be better. I think Frederick Douglass said it best. Anything a black man wants to do to progress himself, he gets met with all kind of resistance. But anything to keep him stagnant and stuck, he gets all type of support. And I see that within our community. And Malcolm was one of the people who broke those chains, but not just within the community, but also healing the family, trying to be the best man that he could be. And I just think Malcolm is a dope example. He makes me reflect on my life. And I'm just so grateful for all the blessings that I have, the good people I have in my life, regardless of what's going on, regardless of who's sitting in the office, no matter what's going on out in the world. I find a reason every day to wake up grateful, happy, appreciative. And that's how we win. Because the abundance start flowing that way. And to look at how my children move, to look at how my children are with their children. And just that stuff. Kayla get ready to go to college. Zuri's get ready to go to junior high school. All these graduations, and shout out to all of them. Shout out nephews. One of my nephews just got his bachelor's. He's not my blood nephew, but he's little Taz's best friend. And both of his parents I grew up with from the sandbox. So he's my nephew. You know how we doing. Your parents grew up together, you my nephew. You know what I'm saying? And then my brother's son got his second master's degree. My little cousin Chandler just graduated. I think he got his bachelor's. Because I know I'm seeing a lot of bachelors and masters in the family. And I'm loving the education. And we want to encourage that, but also with the consciousness of self-awareness and knowledge of self. Because those degrees don't mean if you don't know who you are or where you come from. But yeah, that's
that part.
Yeah, but all that is planted by
I
Malcolm.
just got my doctorate in anti-shenanigans. I have a doctor in anti-shenanigans.
Sis says she got her doctorates in anti-shenanigans.
Facts. I am the shenanigans slayer. Trust me. Let's get our brother Blak Smith on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's good, Brother Blak? How are you?
I'm good, Sister Keisha. And congratulations on your new degree. Hey, Tad, she got an AS in AS.
Oh man.
Yes, indeed. Let me get my sister Marcia up on the Brooklyn Bridge. But before we do, I need you to mute. Before we do, I gotta give a special shout out to Sister Marcia Moms. She dogged the show last week. So y'all never know who watching and who paying attention. You understand? I got a special treat for her tonight. I got a special treat just for her later on in the show. Let's get our sister Marcia, Africans on the Rise on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's good?
We can't hear you, sister.
I'm sorry. Happy Black Thursday to everyone. I think mommy was trying to say something or not trying to say something, but I told her the accolades that you gave her, and she's like, oh, what this is? What this is? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Where's my Blacktastic? You ain't say it yet.
That was the first thing I said.
You said Black Thursday. You ain't say Blacktastic.
I didn't? Okay. Blacktastic Thursday to you all.
Is that better, Black?
Are you happy, Black? Did I make your heart flitter? Anyway, how's everyone doing?
Good. We are doing good, sis. I was showing some pictures. Are you in the background?
Oh.
The pilgrimage to Malcolm X's gravesite. Upstate. So I showed some video and pictures, courtesy of Brother Ray Ray.
Oh,
took a whole bunch. So I said, why do I have to pull everything? I'm going right to Ray Ray page.
Yes, he'll have all the information. You know, I'm not a poster. I don't even think I took many photos through my own phone this week, this event.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're around like-minded people, you know, that tends to take a back seat. I'd rather get distracted doing that as well.
Right. I'd rather be in conversation than, oh, wait, let's take a picture, whatever. You know.
Yeah. And so that's why, now see, she admitted it again, y'all. So when I asked for pictures, she said, I was there. Now we know why. She don't want to take pictures when she's engaging, but I do get it, sis. I do get it. I wanted us to start out this evening with some things that, you know, I'm gonna let Brother Blak start with this one. Why? Because, you know, this is dude. So since this is dude, I'm gonna let him start off the rip. All right. So in recent news, President Donald Trump has began to pull himself away from Elon Musk, if you will. Now, some people say that's a good thing. Others say that it could be problematic. Whether he is problematic for me. But some of your thoughts, Blak, on some of the things that you're seeing right now that President Trump is engaged in.
Hey, Sister Keisha, your sound is not all that, so I didn't really hear your question. I heard Trump and, you know, ask the question again.
And just mute. Thank you. So, in recent news, a lot of people are saying that President Trump is pulling himself away from Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is now saying, you know, the next time around, he won't be contributing so much to presidential campaigns. There seems to be a dissent amongst the two, but any murmurings that you're hearing
about? Great question. This is what I think. A lot of what we seeing now, we got to understand something. Trump is a businessman. I believe a lot of what we seeing now is to confuse the public, like, you know, abolishing this and then, you know, saying that they're going to unleash the police so that they could be meaner and more aggressive with their job and so on and so forth. So basically what I think he's doing is throwing a lot of shit on the wall, basically. And what he wants to stick is going to stick. I think and a lot of people disagree with me on this, but with unleashing the police, I think that's to get them to think that they could do whatever they want. So that at the end, because at the end that they're going to really tie them up So those who haven't done anything crazy yet, like shoot a black kid for nothing, which always happens, I think that they're going to actually be prosecuted. He just signed an executive order against a law firm for not practicing law the right way, and I think that's a precedent. So what I think he's doing in regard, now I'm gonna answer your question. What I think with Elon Musk, what he's doing is playing politics. Like instead of separating from him, he probably getting closer, but they're not just going to be as public as they was before because people are pushing against him because Musk is South African, by a native South African as well. There's so much going on, and he needs to separate himself from a lot of things just so he could be overseeing everything and not have his actual physical imprint on it. So I think he's trying to separate from a lot of people in that regard, because if you notice, hardly anybody from his first administration is in this administration. We don't even know most of the people's names, other than, of course we know Cash Patel, Bongino, and all them people, but most of them people were unheard of during his last, or even during the Biden administration. So now he got his people in, and he doing what he feel he need to do to get this country right. Again, I'm gonna finish with this. I believe his mandate is from the Galactic Federation to have where your signal at, so that the Earth could be restored back to us. And with that, I yield.
Black, I got a question for you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I hear you.
Do you think Trump's a time traveler?
I said this on the show before. When Tesla was living in New York and he died in that hotel room, Donald Trump's uncle was the one that got all his papers. It's been said, not me. I could drop a link in the chat if y'all want me to. It's been said that he had a time machine in there, and Donald Trump went into the future and saw he was going to be the president one day. So I'm not going to speak to whether that's true or not. I don't know.
I mean, I have the book. I think it's The Strange Life of Baron Trump or something like that. That's an interesting read. I didn't finish it, but I started it, and I'm like, hold up.
So I find it disturbing what I'm seeing, because what I'm seeing equates to a sound Joe Biden. His tactics are exactly the same. Exactly the same. He just more boisterous for a particular different wing of politics in this country. But I hear the same talking points. In fact, most of the people, especially in media, who were with him 110%, 10 toes down, are now pulling themselves away and saying, you know what? He is mimicking the same type of behaviors as Joe Biden, in particular with the nation of Israel. That is very, very problematic. And as I mentioned on last week's show, a lot of white elites are delineating themselves from Israel and the Jewish state. That's just my take on it. A lot of people are annoyed, if you will. See, with Elon Musk, this is why I say immigrants have no business in U.S. politics. He has no business in U.S. politics. So, even though he came in with a sweeping brush to allegedly clean up government, to bring down the U.S. debt, if you will, national debt, if you will, it is causing even more debt with the cleanup. So, and then again, when I hear people like President Trump welcoming white South Africans to the United States for alleged crimes in South Africa, while foundational Black Americans are still waiting for reparations, this is shenanigans to me. That's just my take on it. But, you know, everybody doesn't have to agree, but this is where I'm at. Sister Farnessa says, what about the old book called Barren? I don't know. I never read it. So maybe one of the other hosts here have, but I myself have never read the book.
I was going to ask that same question too, but you know, I wanted to show the flow. So Tad, if you can you just give us a little nugget on it?
Yeah, I'm looking for the book now.
Okay, so in the meantime, while Tad is looking for the book, I got something, because sometimes people forget history. And sometimes that's what we do over here. News, history, and politics. That's what we do over here. So sometimes we got to dig in crates and find stuff. So shout out to the people of Haiti. And this one is for you.
Who is Jean-Jacques Dessalines? And why is his name banished and outlawed for 100 years? Why is his legacy and bloodline kept a secret? Why so many different versions of stories about him? Why was the emperor of the world removed from history books? Let's dive deep to the river of truth, guided by the spirits that whispers their deepest secrets to the parallel reality of the mortals. One must know that history is manipulated, altered, politicized, and organized religious crimes. That the Imperium of Haiti is the biggest secret of humanity. They're the greatest shift of human history within this timeline. And the power that be, dedicating a lifetime of rewriting history to cover up the once true leader of the world. Who is Emperor Jacques I? Who is Issa Ingayaya? Who is Jean-Jacques Dessalines? So many storylines, tales and fables about a messianic figure, shattered to glass pieces, while the next generation staring at the infinite version of a manipulated truth. In today's age, due to massive indoctrination and re-education within the school system, no one knows the exact date of birth of the emperor. It was forbidden to even mention his name by the church. They say he was born in 1758 West Africa. Some say Benin, Congo, and even Senegal. This agenda of relocated ancient historical heroes from history book is a prime focus in this continental American culture. Educational hitman like Charles Darwin relocates the old world to Africa. Thomas Madieu, an indentured servant descent, forge and create the biggest confusion and manipulation in Haitian history, causing an everlasting rift between the children of the Imperium. Till to this day, Melville Herkovitz, creating the African-American educational institutions that will automatically link any history or legacy of melanated indigenous American to Africa by the stroke of his pen. Walter Plecker introduced the reclassification of the Imperium children, weaponized the Census Bureau, and enforced the redistribution of status and birthrights. Harold Corlander dedicated a lifetime on Haitian spirituality with a sole purpose of relocating the indigenous tradition to Africa, all in the great conquest of buried true history and the existence of the Empire of Haiti.
So, shout out to Marcia. I just thought I'd play that because I was in the chat on X the other day, and people were making commentary about the nation of Haiti and don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so I thought I would find something a little bit palatable for people to watch so that they can have a starting point for something. And I think, Sister Marcia, that people are getting confused. People are becoming confused, and it's up to us to end that confusion. Because as Brother Tad says, we have to have a particular code of conduct. Agreed. We also have to have an international code of conduct. And so when I see things that aren't right, me being the person that I am, I have to fix that. So I would encourage everyone, within our sounding voice, to research the nation of Haiti, research their constitution, research what happened in 1804, research not just Dessalines and Toussaint, but all of the other women and men who were involved. And for my brothers and sisters of Haiti, I encourage you to re-educate yourselves and re-educate your children, because in order to save your nation, you have to propagate. Propaganda is the first move in warfare. And in order to win the war and all battles that come with war, propaganda is very much important. So, kudos to everybody of Haiti, all our brothers and sisters. That's how we rock. That's how we rock. Ray, you missed it. You missed it. I show all your videos and all your pictures from Facebook for Malcolm X Earth Day. So, shout out to you again, brother. But yes, so we did that. So I just wanted to speak on that history a little bit and give people a platform, because I don't like some of the things that I'm hearing. And I think that because, well, never mind. Go ahead, Brother Blak. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Sister Marcia a question. Actually, a two-part question. After the earthquake in 2010, we understand that Hillary Clinton's brother had the mining rights to all the gold in Haiti, but he passed away a few years ago. And as well, there was a lot of oil discovered in Haiti. What's going on with those situations? Because those two alone will make Haiti super rich the way it's supposed to be, as opposed to, the shell of its former self. So
thank you for the question. So from my understanding, the main ports in Port-au-Prince, right? Everything has been destabilized. And of course, given the information you just shared, right? The minerals and the liquid gold that they found, it is better for them to continue the destabilization of this country so that they do not, the country won't develop itself, one, because they'll think they think they're fighting for something, but they're not fighting for the right thing. And two, the destabilization allows the U.S. to usher in their puppets. At this present moment, they haven't found the correct puppet to lead the country. And this is more the reasons why, it keeps going into these semi-coup d'etat. Whoever is the prime minister gets ousted and stuff like that. After they killed Jovenel, when they thought Jovenel was going to be a good old boy, he started saying, I'm not that good for you guys. I'm good for my people. They had to snuff him out. What is his name? Henry, I can't remember. Preval. When he began the shenanigans on his own bequest, right? Meaning he is trying to usher in his own people so that he could capitalize and then resell himself, right? He doesn't want to be the manager. He wanted to be the middleman. The people started revolting against that. So it's going to constantly be a revolt until, like Sister Keisha says, even Haiti needs to re-educate itself on its strength and its glory, on the fact of the people of that Taino, the island that was stolen, right? We have remnants of people of the Taino lineage, but you got to remember, don't get twisted in thinking though the people that look like Arabs are the Tainos, because they're not one and the same. And I think that's one of the things that Haiti is conflicted with. It's its own crisis of identity. Where does it belong? Because nobody likes Haiti, and that stigma has been sheltered on it, for my own lifetime. So could you just imagine how many other lifetimes and the few voices that are bringing truth and bringing light are suppressed, just like here in America, right? If you're telling the truth and if you're showing people the way, you're not the one they're going to listen to. They're going to listen to someone with the big this, the big that, the big Mercedes, those type of things that make the people think that that's power. They think material good is power. And as I think that's one of the things that we all need to understand as a collective of Black people. What is power? How do you define power? Because materialism, we've already seen it for so long and it's not power. So what is power?
Power to me is military might. Power to me is military might. That's just my understanding, because anytime someone can bend your will by force, they will always have control over you. That's just my take on it. Sorry.
I was thinking, I'm gonna say this real quick and then I'm gonna get off. I was thinking that Traore was gonna unify all of the France-led African, let's say Africanized nations, majority African people on them. But like you said a minute ago, the United States wouldn't allow it. It's too close to our, it's basically in American waters. So they're not going to allow that. Just like what the Russians did with Cuba in the 60s.
I want to say anything is possible. I won't disagree that, the battle looks tricky, looks like there's a lot of obstacles. But should we want to clear those obstacles using our God-given talents, we can clear obstacles. So that would be something where, again, discussing what is power, what does power look like, and how do we clear obstacles, that's a conversation. But I think it can be possible, but you have to have the right mindset. So many, we had military power. I can't talk about how strong military is, right? I could talk about Haiti had a military force. But the thing is, and won its independence, the first Black independent country of Turtle Island based on the Europeans' colonization, right? But the thing is, when the enemy is within, right? Thomas Sankara, the enemy within. So many of the respected people that we honor, the enemies within, they are also those people that are part of this military. So again, what does this look like? Because we can gain it. We can gain it really quickly. But when we have enemies within, what does power look like?
I think a lot of people, sorry, Black, go ahead. I think a lot of people live in fantasy, nostalgic fantasy at that, especially when it comes to revolution, right? No one uses the same weapon on every enemy for centuries. And I think that with revolution became a cult-like following instead of doing the work, as Marcia always says. I think, I know, just from our involvement in revolution, it can become cult-like. And I think that those who are seeking power have a distorted understanding of what that is, because they see it through the enemy that they are trying to attain it from, right? So let's say I'm in a fight with Brother Blak and Brother Tad. The way that I would approach that fight is totally different than I would if I was in a fight with Marcia, right? I have to look at the adversary ahead of me, right? You are two strong, grown men. So I cannot attack running at both of you, right? Strategically thinking, I will let you advance so that I can get hold to your nuts. I'm just saying, no, I don't mean it as a joke, but shut up, Black. I'm just saying you have to fight strategically based on the battle that you're in. Stop laughing, Black. Based it on the battle that you're in. And I think, well, I know a lot of people are caught in a particular mindset of what battle should be. Kind of like those who go on the pilgrimage every year to see Brother Malcolm. They romanticize what Malcolm was, what Malcolm's involvement in revolution was. A lot of people fantasize about that. In my humble opinion, that's why a lot of people continue to make that pilgrimage every year. Shout out to Brother Lumumba. But I have to say it this way because do you give that same type of pilgrimage to your own deceased ancestors who did even more for you than Malcolm could have? Because you don't know him. You never knew him. You don't know his family. I don't know. That's just the way I'm seeing it, and it becomes cult-like. And that, to me, is problematic. But let me get off my soapbox.
Nah, you hit it on the head, sis. You know,
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Say that, and it's true. It becomes a cult, and people lose themselves. And that's why, even as we talked about what Malcolm meant to me, and what I did with that day, because my children graduated over the weekend, and this is powerful because I was intentional not to have my children like me, not to be involved with the things I was involved with. My son's not out here wreaking havoc on the community like I did. And I'm glad I was able to get my act together before my mother transitioned so she could truly tell me that she was proud. I gave her reasons to be proud. I did things most dudes in the hood don't do. I've ran marathons. I've literally been back and forth to Africa. I remember those were just wishes and dreams when I was in the streets. In fact, my oldest son, right? His teacher, shout out to my dude, John Medicine, his former teacher, that's how we met. He said, yo, his brother told him, yo, that dude Tad is mad cool. Yo, who is he? What's his story? He said, Tad is like Nas and Belly. And I got that because I was deep in the streets, but I always had the mindfulness that there was always more to do and I could always be doing better. Even in the streets, I started running with elite dudes. And when I got jammed up, since I had a love of reading, I knew to take myself to the law library with the encouragement of my predicate felon, Uncle Zayd, who always spent time. And, we got those uncles, who just be there. And even he don't go back and forth like he used to when he was younger. So there's always redemption. And I try to let people know the way you are right now, you don't have to be that way tomorrow, next week, or next year. We have to create a better environment for our young people that's coming up behind us because a lot of them are running them up. Real quick, I don't know if y'all see that there's a big thing on social media about the young child named Miss Shirley that went viral for the fans dance. And people are encouraging it. I think children should have fun. However, some things aren't appropriate for children, especially gyrating, particularly when we're in this society where we know we got a lot of pedos out here. We have to be careful on what we allow our children to do and how we present them, because unfortunately, these are toddlers now. We're not talking about 6-year-olds. We're not talking about preteen 12-year-olds. We're talking about toddlers whose minds are sponges right now, and they're absorbing all this information we're bombarding them with. And what I see is folks trying to make these children grow up so fast and not enjoy their childhood. And this is the crazy part. This is why we see a lot of our young people run amok. And not all of them, because again, I'm proud of the children in my family that are graduating. I think it was the day before yesterday. I was on a train and I saw a young track team. You know, they were well mannered on the train, and I'm like, why aren't these upward bound children being highlighted? Why do we always give the attention and encouragement to our children that don't represent the best of who we are as Black folks?
We got to do a better job of highlighting those people, because the noise is louder on the other side. But the other side, you end up with Diddy cases. So we have to look at giving ourselves the glory that we deserve. And one of the things, going back to Haiti, Mama Bello said it was children that was in the war. Memorial Day didn't become a national holiday in the United States until Black children wanted to memorialize their dead. So children lead the way with proper guidance. Right now, they're not having the proper guidance. She could dance her fan song, but she could be dressed more appropriately too, right? She could be dressed like a child, and she could speak like a child instead of a mini adult. Yes, I agree. We are, people are doing things, unfortunately, as well, for the views, the streams, the dollars behind these things. That becomes problematic. This ends up becoming, streaming, TikToking, all of these things is the new crack in our community. This is where we're going to get up. This is where we're going to make all our money. We have to consider these things as we speak to the future generations and connect with people on what is the disturbance.
I agree with you, sis. I agree with you 100%. Unfortunately, our folks are looking for validation on social media. We're looking for clicks and likes. We want people to edify us. But these folks are not really adding value to the community. And it's so unfortunate, because I believe children, to the point about the dance, I just think the little children shouldn't be popping their little tails. There got to be a balance. But I agree with you. Social media has run amok in our community. And I couldn't find the book because I got so many books and I got some other books packed up in other places. So it may be packed up. I found the other book that go with it, though. It's called 1900 or The Last President. That's the title of the book. 1900 or The Last President.
Sister Pat says adults have to be more careful about using their children for social media content. Too many creeps on these platforms, which is true.
Yes.
And that's the other part of the coin that grown people don't want to deal with.
Say that part.
That grown people don't want to deal with, to make this child, baby, accountable for adult perverts is totally wrong. We live in a society that glorifies perversion. And that's why I keep telling y'all on this platform, be careful of your sexual wants and desires, because they will be used against you. Now, for me, let's look at the equation as Sister Marcia put it, in power. If we are a nation who wants to be in power, you have to deal with the code in your nation. I'm sorry, but there's too many brothers and sisters who are sexually perverted, and that has to be dealt with. And everybody likes to let things slide. You don't see me and my friends talking about hot girl summer and dressing scantily clad. We don't do those kind of things. We are grown women, period. Some of us are wives, some of us aren't. Some of us are grandparents, some of us aren't. But you will never see me and us going outside like that. Now, I see people that I grew up with on social media, got everything hanging out, and you 55 years old. You look ridiculous. Even to the brothers, you look ridiculous talking about I'm a passport bro. I'm a this and I'm a that. You're a clown. We have to stop this. And we, those of us who know better, do not allow allow this foolishness around you. You have to be accountable for the people around you. Period. If we have a code, if we're trying to develop a code of conduct, that means each and every one of us are responsible for the people around us. I don't hang out with trash. Period. If that's your game, that's your game, but you can't rock with me. Some people I know, like, oh, we ain't see you in a minute, and you won't.
And you won't.
You won't, because I don't rock like that. I don't want my grandson to come to me and say, Nina, that was you. No. I can call my daughter on the phone right now. She can tell you this has never occurred. I've always dressed conservatively. It's too many people out here that are sexually perverted. And we like to play this game because we don't want to make grown people accountable. Some of y'all today know damn well you know perverts in the neighborhood and you still smile and wave at them too. So hold yourselves accountable and don't make a toddler accountable for your sexual deviance. But I do understand. As a mother, I would never have my daughter twerking nothing. That's just me. But as y'all said, we live in a world that glorifies such things. How is it glorified? Because idiots is watching. OnlyFans only make money because idiots is over there. Period. And we got to call a spade a spade. If you hanging around hoes, you a hoe. Period. I'll tell your mama you a hoe. If you hanging around with bum dudes, you a bum dude. I'll tell your mama you a bum dude. So I guess, by the way that I carry myself, people don't come to me with that foolishness. Don't do it. And I've seen some of the comments. Even if you're making a commentary because you are in disagreement with it, shouldn't you address it to her parent and not the child? You maggot. I saw some of y'all calling this young girl so many things. She's a baby, you son of a bitch. I saw a lot of y'all doing that. I'm in the comments. I'm watching. Call her all kind of names. She fresh. She this, she that. She's a baby.
Who made her fresh? Who allows her to act fresh? Y'all sit in there because you want to know why? Because
who the hell is her father? Don't let that bastard off the hook either. The same way you don't let her mama off the hook. See, go ahead, Sister Marcia.
That's exactly where I was gonna go with it. That's exactly where I was going to go. Where's her daddy? Where's her grandpappy? Where is somebody who loves her as the beautiful future that she is versus allowing this? Where's her mama? Where's her good grandma? Again, how many people make a child? How many people make a child? Over 1 million people make one child today. In that 1 million people, you're going to tell me within the first 4, the first 3, there's not one sane person to say, not my baby girl. You take my baby off of this internet. Not one. This is sad. And, again, there is some money in the back end and people are falling for the money.
She's already getting endorsement deals out the rip for notable brands.
And she's going to go to...
I understand that the mother may want her to develop a sense of economic independence for herself as a toddler. However, the approach, because when she first started out, it wasn't like that. But then it grew into something crazy. And I'm watching all these damn perverts and it's driving me nuts. I see Brother Tag got something to share, but Sister Pat, yeah, you're right, Sister Pat. The criticism is toward the wrong person. Yeah, you criticize a toddler. I'm looking at the comments like, have you talk about this baby? Yeah, see, I would have to get your IP address and come see you. I'm her. I'm going to come knock on your door. Let me know when you're ready, Brother Taz. Sister Vera says, it was a video with another woman trying to do the same thing with her daughter, and the father was like, "No, I don't like it. Stop making her twerk like that." Yeah,
Sister,
where's her father?
I have queued up right now.
Where's her daddy at? But anyway, here we go.
All right, hold on. Here we go. Am I clicking? Oh, let me go to this.
Sorry, I don't like my baby just doing that. That's not. She's 3 years old and you got her dancing like that. I don't like that.
What's wrong with this?
What's wrong with that, Tori? That's so
All she doing is just dancing to boots on the ground. There's nothing wrong with that.
I ain't that she filming, but you know, she's 3 years old, Tori. She's 3 years old and got her dancing like that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Joe, come on, let's finish popping our booty for daddy. Come on. Go, Joe. Look. You still don't like it?
I don't like that. It's not cute. Y'all think that's cute? Putting these little girls on the internet.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Yeah,
doing that song. She's 3 years old, Toya, and you got her 3 years old. And you got her doing the dancing like that on the internet.
But
I don't like that. I don't like my baby dancing like that on the internet.
She's not doing nothing inappropriate.
All right. Well, wait till they see how she dances. Go ahead. Show them how she dances.
Come on, Stank.
You see how she dances.
I don't see anything wrong with it. It's cute, actually.
I know, come on.
The biggest problem I got with this.
Good, Brother Blak.
Unmute.
Unmute, Black. You gotta unmute. Unmute, Black.
Yeah, I got a problem with why are you even arguing with her? Turn that shit off. Just turn it off, man. That's not an argument you're supposed to have online. He should have got whoever was recording. Yo, turn that shit off and let me talk to her. Don't put my daughter on the damn internet like that, doing that. Period. That's it. You ain't got to argue with her. That's showing he ain't getting no respect in the grip.
That's money. That's money.
Nah, come on. Everything can't be money, though. Everything can't be money.
I want to read what Press had to say. These behaviors prevent group unity and efficient group effort. When parents, teachers, and other adults practice these behaviors towards one another, they teach children how to practice them also. Black children learn that Black people do not respect each other, which also means Black people do not and should not respect themselves. The children in turn will teach those of following generations how to disrespect themselves and each other, thus how to remain oppressed. Inferiorization is essential to the process of oppression. It ensures that the oppressor needs not be troubled to hold the oppressed constantly under gun and key to keep them in an oppressed state. It keeps the oppressed from effectively challenging the oppressive process and system. In this way, the oppressors mold and the oppressed to share fully in the process of their own oppression. And I thought that was powerful because Black, had that brother really got more aggressive, here's the toxic masculinity, here's the man trying to tell people what to do, and it's a collaborative effort, because I feel you, Black. As a father, I feel you. I agree with my sister Keisha. I don't like deadbeat dudes. In fact, me and Dogie had this conversation today. We was talking about deadbeats, and he was like, yo, you say that, and I told this deadbeat the same exact thing. Because we had to have a conversation with somebody we know. Yo, we don't do that deadbeat stuff, man. We don't do that. Like, nah. And he's younger than us. So we had to let him know, as dudes, as homies, as brothers, as big brother to little brother, we don't do that. What? Nah, it don't rock with us. And this is me and Dog having this conversation, brother to brother, about another brother. Not taking it to social media, though now we on social media, but it fits this conversation right now, that we don't condone that. But what's unfortunate, what we just witnessed on the other side of that coin, is when brothers do step up, we get knocked down by the people that we would give our life to protect. Because I promise you, if something was to happen, he would jump in front of a pow for his daughter and possibly his children's mother as the man that's there. Because most men I know would jump in front of harm's way just so the family could survive. So one of the things I teach my children and anybody who's involved with me, you see Tad getting into it, please leave. Leave the danger zone. Because I don't want you to be a part of it. I don't want you to be a witness. I don't want you to be a co-defendant. And God knows if I got the run, I don't want to leave you behind. So get out the way. The moment you see me tell you leave, don't argue. Don't, because we seen that happen, Sister Keisha, with the brother in the projects. What was that, Vanderveer? I think a year or two ago, where the brother was arguing with his neighbor and he went in the house, and then the mother came out to chastise the neighbor. So the son comes back to get his mother to take in the house. The guy pulls out a pow, deletes the son and deletes the younger son, because this grown man who was deleted, he had a young son, a teenage son. And the neighbor deleted them both because mama went back outside after homie went in the house. The argument was done. He went in the apartment, but mama comes back out. And God bless my mama, because she knew at a certain point. And I say, Ma, go in the house. It wasn't no argument. It wasn't no you come in here too. She busts a U-turn and go in the house, because having confidence in my ability out here, she knew that I always had things under control. That's why I'm still here to talk about it now. But we need to work collaboratively. And sisters, we know you love us. We know you want to keep us safe. But there's certain things that only men can resolve, particularly when it comes down to violence. We need you out of harm's way. So please don't give too much resistance when we're trying to do what's right for the family. And I'm off my soapbox with that one.
And there you have it. You know, like Sister Pat says, she says, when the mother said we shaking our booty for daddy, not true. Y'all shaking y'all booty for the daddies on the net.
Mm-hmm.
See,
that coin, that internet money.
It's bad, because here you have a song that is so family friendly, community friendly, and people can't even enjoy it. You got the zesties who want to pop a fan harder than women do it. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And that's what I'm saying. You know, as you said, Brother Tad, a lot of us, you have to pull coats. A lot of y'all know people and you still rock. I don't. It's sad, but you know, moving on. I missed something I was supposed to talk about, but anyway, I'll do it later on. Sister Vera said she think it may have been a skit, making fun of the situation, but it's just bad, because you know, here it is, this baby has not even really begun life yet, and already the world is going to see her in a particular light. So you have to be careful, you know, with what you produce, what you bring out before the world, and your reaction to it, because that also plays a part.
No, I was going in agreement with Vera's post. You know, maybe it was a skit. And if it is a skit, it still brings the topic to the forefront, because sometimes we need a mirror in front of us. Because the part that's not in that quote, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, monkey see, monkey do, till one day the monkey slit his throat. Talking about us. Every trending thing that comes out, we always have to get on top of it and act like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's teacher, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., gave a presentation about Zapsters. He said, we jump on anything. He said, Zapsters. He said, I can take a hat, place a hubcap on top of it, and say, this is the new style, and watch black people wear it. I'll call it Zapsters. And next thing you know, everybody want to jump on it. Yeah, you got the new Zapsters. I got my hat with a hubcap on top of it.
Yeah, and now they're saying that, you know, we are the Zapsters, right? We are the ones pushing culture, pushing this and pushing that. Great. But there's a video that just came out with Kodak Black with some Japanese guy with the hair spikes and everything like that. So it goes in many different forms that we are mimicking each other and not getting any glory out of it. There's no glory in putting your child, skit or no skit. Your child didn't belong in the skit. And if you were going to check the mother or the auntie, whoever that woman was, that's the part that needed to be front and center, not the auntie coming pushing back. But what we doing? We just clap. We're just no. His voice as a prophesier, as the prophet of the family, is supposed to be the loudest voice. But yet it wasn't the loudest voice. It didn't for me. It didn't become the loudest voice. You know, it comes out and then he shuts down. Maybe when he says not my child, but it shuts down. It's not as if someone is listening to the words that he is saying for the family. So I just, at the end of the day, it's disgusting. Either way, I don't like that. I don't like that we are putting little people in certain harm's way. And again, maybe that was the cause when children were part of the Civil War. Children were part of all of these wars. Parents was like, I don't want my children parts of harm's way. But then where is our middle? Where is our healthy middle where children can blossom and thrive and become the future that we want them to be? Because, you know, hey, it's off balance.
You know, the flop is that we create those spaces. You know, you've created those spaces. I've created those spaces. Our sophisticated audience creates those spaces. This conversation is a seed to create those spaces. And it's very important and it's very relevant. You know, one of the things I've shared with people, because even when I was growing up, you know, and I was in the streets and I had children, the first book I ever read by Dr. Amos Wilson was The Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. So even though I didn't get what the jewels that was in that book, rather I wasn't raised with that. I was raised on love, though. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm thankful for my mother's family and my father's family. I was safe in both places, you know, but I didn't have that environment learning about nutrition and silence, you know. But with my children, I did that. We had reading time, we had quiet time, and that's important. And these videos, when YouTube first came out, I would sit with my children. We would watch some of these crazy videos and have a conversation around it. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that right? Is that wrong? And now I'm reaping the fruits of my labor, you know, and I pray that I can continue and that my grandchildren will follow in this newfound tradition of putting education first, but not just education to say you have it, but understanding that in this society we live in, you have to have particular credentials before anybody even take you serious. Because all four of us got a lot of knowledge that the average person in our neighborhood don't know. They're unfamiliar with a lot of these conversations. That's why it's not popular. But if we was talking about the Diddy trial, we'd be lit. But we're talking about self-improvement. We're talking about current events. We're talking about our story. And we're making it relative to today, to how we can create a brighter future. Y'all were talking about power. My understanding of power is having the ability to shape your own reality, to make it what you want it to be. That's what power is. In my summation, I could be wrong, but that's what I seek. That's what I seek to do every day. And I think this is important for us to constantly have these conversations, even though we're beating dead horses, because there's some people growing up looking for this stuff. Somebody who is 21 today was 11 years old 10 years ago when we were doing straight Black Pride 10 years ago. So now that we're talking about this is stuff we've been talking about a minimum of 10 years ago. We've been talking about this stuff, the direction our community is headed in, based on the media and those who control the media. So we could talk about Diddy, right? But what's the Abercrombie and Fitch dude name?
Jeffries, Mike Jeffries.
Mike Jeffries, right? Why are we not talking about his case? And I don't know, that's a rhetorical question.
And he's out, right? He's out there still shipping champagne.
He was in jail 15 minutes probably.
Right.
That's smooth as too.
They're saying he's unfit for trial. So this is what I'm saying, the double standards, the dualities. And I want our folks to know we can't do what they do. Just because we may hit a particular economic threshold and we're allowed in certain spaces with these folks, don't think you could do what they do. Nor should you want to. If you understand our history, if you understand our story, you wouldn't even want to engage. You may go to the party as a networking event and use it to make more money so you can do things for your family and hopefully your community, because our family come first. Because a lot of people in our community don't share the same code of conduct, and I'm recognizing that more and more as time goes on and as I age. Everybody don't want the same thing. They'll say family, but they treat their family horrible.
They don't know how. You know, sometimes, not everyone, but a lot of people haven't been exposed to a lot of things. They come up out of broken homes and everything is broken. So now to reimagine, like you said, right, to create that vision, they probably don't know where to start with the vision, right? And so it takes, like you said, 10 years from now, you'll be pulling up this YouTube video and seeing that you can create this environment that you want, but it'll take some hard work. It's not a magic pill. It's not going to Bloomingdale's and buying your whatever number jeans and then coming out and it's there. It takes dedication.
Hard work is good. That's all we got is dedication. And that's all we got.
Not many people can work on consistency.
Let me say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna pass the mic. Real quick, and I'll give you the mic. Brother Blak. Excuses are for the weak. Results are for the strong. Our community constantly complains. We know what the problems are, but we don't engage in a solution. And I'm not talking about the hood community, Sister Marcia. I'm talking about the African-centered, pro-Black, power to the people's one. That's who I'm talking about. I ain't even talking about my project people. I'm talking about those who profess to know so much. Those who follow the pimp of Pan-Africanism, who still don't take care of his children and then disrespect them when a family conflict arises. As a man, you're supposed to say, you know what, me and my family have some business that's really not suitable for social media, so I'm going to work on this behind the closed doors. Not Mama Smurf, Papa Smurf, Baby Smurf, Grandma Smurf. Not, the disrespect. But you want to prop yourself up as a person who wants to lead the community, and you don't even demonstrate leadership qualities. But then when we call it out, the African-centered community want to call us haters? Yeah, I hate that behavior. That's the behavior all our ancestors and scholars and even my un-Africanized grandmothers knew better than. You keep family business at home. You see your daughter in pain, you don't antagonize her. And we supposed to take our children to you. Right. I'm off my soapbox. Brother Blak.
Yeah. I wanted to kind of segue into something both you and Sister Marcia addressed, but go take it a little step further in that they said, I think Auntie Marie said that it might have been a prank, right? Or somebody. I don't remember who it was. It's a few minutes ago. Yes, Sister Vera. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is where pranks are going. I hate seeing pranks on social media, because about 3 weeks ago, there was some white dudes in Virginia did a prank called Ding Dong Ditch. I grew up in the project, so we all know people knock on your door, they run. You know, it's just harmless kids having fun. They're not doing it to be malicious or breaking your crib. They doing it just for kicks. They bored. They need shit to do. So anyway, these 3 white kids do that to a black man who was in the military and suffered from PTSD at 3 in the morning. And these were teenagers. They weren't 10-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? And the way they ding-donged his crib wasn't to ring the bell and then knock on the door and then run. They were like, ding-dong ditch basically is the way he felt. They was trying to kick in the door and do a home invasion at 3 in the morning where his family sleep. So he pulled out the ratchet. One of them got wet up, gone. Another one took graze, and the third one, he was further away, so he didn't even get hit. But that dude is still in jail right now. His name is Tyler Chase Butler. And we have the threshold. So now going to what you said, Brother Tad, in regard to we ain't gonna get away with what they do. Daniel Penny's threshold was a lot lower because even the people that helped him subdue Jordan Neely told him, yo, you don't need to kill him. You're killing him, you know, because at first he was breathing real hard. Then when he stopped breathing, it was like, yo, you're gonna kill him if you keep going. He just kept yoking him harder. And there it is. So what I'm saying is, you know, and lately, one more thing, and then I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I've been seeing a lot of videos with sisters who must be emotional because when the police tell them to do something, they want to go do what they want to do because they in their right. You can, like you were saying earlier, you can't put yourself in a position for these people who would murder us outright. Put yourself in a position where just because you don't want to listen, you're going to put yourself in a position to get killed or beat the hell up, halfway dead. You got kids to go to most of the time. You know, neighbors, your mother, you know, people who depend on you. You can't be putting yourself in that position based off stubbornness. Do what he's saying, go home. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know, you know, we all been dealt with by police and we don't want to do, but come on, man. Yo, you got family and things like that. You're not going to beat this man up even if you know how to throw your joints. Because then he going to just call back up and if they come and shoot and you gone. So I'm off my soapbox.
No, and you know what? I agree with you. And I think with the brother Tyler you mentioned, they crossed the threshold. Ding dong ditches, you ring the bell and you run. They jimmied the door open and was on his property.
I didn't even hear that. I just heard the ding dong ditch.
Yeah, that was their story. Once you open that man's door, that's burglary. That is burglary. And at 3 a.m, who thinking this kid's playing with hoodies and masks? I saw the surveillance video. And you're right. Unfortunately, our community, because it ain't just the sisters. I remember, God bless the dead, one of my homeboys, we got pulled over in the car and he trying to argue with the cop. He's like, I know my rights. I said, right, you got the right to remain silent, so shut the fuck up. Don't argue with these. Don't give nobody no fuel. The object and the goal is to always go home. That's always the goal, to go home. Sometimes the police will try to bait you into an argument in the fight, but you got to have discipline and self-control. And unfortunately, our people have been wrong so much, they're fiending to be right about any little thing, as opposed to just opening the mind to receive new information, because we've all been mistaken before. I don't like to say we're wrong like that, but sometimes
I've been wrong.
I've been wrong. I've been mistaken. Because some people, Sister Keisha, they get offended when you be like, you wrong. I realize our folks,
they don't like accountability, self-accountability. That's like, oh my God, you said you were wrong. You know you were wrong. And then it's like they can't hold anything up against you anymore, right? Because now it's not leverage. They can't weaponize it against you. Like, oh, remember that time when, you know, I know I'm wrong.
Yeah. Look, on the block, we say when you're wrong and you know you're wrong, that's when you're dead ass wrong.
Y'all crazy. But, you know, let's move on, family. But I hope you all were able to get something out of that. And if you see people in the comments under this little girl speaking as if she is an adult, check that behavior. Just check that behavior, because you can't make a child responsible for adult perversion. And it's a shame that we live in this world that we haven't been able to fix yet, and generation after generation of being born in this world, and we're still on fuck up mode. So it's a problem. It's a problem. But I said I was going to show y'all, if you can find your name. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put the link in the chat. So anyway, y'all can look it up at your own leisure, whenever you feel like it. But NativeBlackAncestry.com has the listing. It takes a lot of work out for you, of surnames. And on both sides of my family, both surnames are here in 2 different tribes. So, you know, Tag can look for Cromwell in here, and I did see a Cromwell, but that's his job. I'll let him look through the list. But you have the list for the Cherokee from A to Z, the Chickasaw from A to Z. You have the Seminole, the Choctaws, all from A to Z. And look through this and see if your family names so you can get back on these reservations, get back into these tribes, especially for what's coming down the pipe, creeks, all of that. Trust and believe. Both of my names up in here. So I got Hopkins, I got Wilsons. We all up in here for real. But I'm dropping this link so that you guys can look and begin to research your family's history. Because, as I said before, I find that problematic. We have so much knowledge and information about so many scholars, and you know nothing about your family. You skipping things, you moving ahead of things. And this is why I think, brothers and sisters, is how come our people attach themselves to movements, to idealisms, to all kind of foolishness, because we've skipped steps, right? Even if you're not a historian, researcher, or anything like that, let's say you are avid churchgoer. You there every Wednesday, every Saturday, every Sunday. You in there. You can give me scripture and verse back and forth, but you don't know where your mama came from. You don't know where your grandparents came from. You're skipping things, and I know this. I'm not saying I'm not doing that. Okay, but I know this. When you start to begin to research your family's history, it will take you on a journey like never before. It will give you clearer understanding of everything that you are and everything that you desire. I promise you that. More so than any research you may have studied in history or whatever, any business that you're involved in, nothing, and I do mean nothing, will give you clearer vision than knowing your family's lineage as far back as you can go. As far back as you can go, it puts everything into perspective. And I can't stress that enough. So, again, I said we're going to do a course on this very, very soon. Shout out to Dr. Randy Short, who is also a great researcher and genealogist as far as history is concerned, because he has done some research for me. And I can't wait. I won't talk about it here now. But for the family members who are in the chat, you wait till tomorrow's night call. I got some info that's going to blow it out the water. Blow it out the water. And like I said, you know, a lot of people, Brother Taz, Sister Marcia, Brother Blak, they see reparations as something distant, something that is possibly not attainable. But when you hold the receipt for your ancestor who was sold and his children who were sold, that puts a different light on things. And I think that's why a lot of people don't want to research their family history. Why a lot of people don't like slave movies, y'all don't like none of that kind of stuff, because it's triggering for you. But could you imagine? I'm going to just take one side of my family, my father's paternal line. To research, and I'm at the 1700 mark, but to go as far as I have so far on this one paternal line, to see generation after generation after generation, they changed his family's identity, is profound. It is profound what has happened to us. And a lot of people, you know, as Brother Taz said, you know, we may have been wrong on some things. There is a researcher who has been on, I guess, your YouTube sites and stuff or whatever for quite some time. And when I first heard this brother, I'm like, this dude is crazy. He's bat-ass crazy.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You do. DC. If I say DC, then you should know who I'm talking about.
Exactly who I was thinking of.
He was 100% correct. 100% correct. When I started looking just on that paternal line, it blew my mind. I'm like, I gotta relearn every goddamn thing now. I gotta go all the way back and relearn. But that would not have happened if I had not skipped steps.
You know, real quick, sis.
Go ahead.
I'm at it myself, right? And I'm so thankful for my living grandmother. My grandmother Cromwell's only living grandparent I still have. I just went to see what was it, last weekend before last. Right? She used to always tell us that. But you know, school told us one thing, my daycare told us another thing. And two things can be true at the same time. But as I was listening to the book Black Indians, remember the part of North Carolina they kept talking about, right?
Book, right?
Roanoke, right? They kept talking about Roanoke, right? My first time ever going down south was Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. So my family, this is my grandmother's from.
Did that blow your mind when you heard that part?
Yeah, I was, because me and Dog used to always laugh because we like, and Grandma say, "Who said I'm black? Who said I'm black?" That's us as young people. But then as we got older, we learned that they switched our status and titles and all of this stuff. We learned that they was playing 3-card money with us. You know, so and from the Cromwell side, we got the documents of the Cromwell, Kit Cromwell coming with his mother on a slave ship. I forget what country, but they landed in South Carolina on the Drayton Plantation. That's why I got family in Charleston. You know, part of my roots are in Charleston. You know, and like Sister Marcia said, like I've said, it takes a bunch of people to make one you. You got tons of bloodlines, but on this particular soil, because I'm watching our people have a problem with us being FBAs. But I'm like, who said the indigenous blacks here and the Africans that were brought here didn't get together and created new people? You know, these epigenetics is a real thing. Your genes don't change, but your behavior do, the way you show up. Like the difference between the Watusi and the Twa people, both from the same continent, but the genes make us different. Phonetically, you know, our phenotype look different. It's the difference between the Japanese and the Korean. They both got the eyes, but you can see the little nuances that separate them. And this is what I try to explain to so many people. We've been here for centuries, some of us longer than that. Some of us been here for millennia. Let's not be so naive and have such a closed mind and be receptive to new information, you know, because no matter what I am who I am. What if I climbed the tree and found a white man? Now I'm not me still, though I haven't found none, thanks goodness. But, you know, do I still denounce my own bloodline?
No, and I got him. You want to take him?
No, it's yours. My point is,
hey, Tad, it sounded like you wrote that book called A Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
You said burning trees in Brooklyn? That's the old me. But no, my point is that we got to accept who we are, man. It goes back to what Sister Keisha talked about earlier at the top of the show. People just creating it as a cult. People creating this group think. People don't have critical thoughts. I hear people say things and then cite certain people and it contradicts what their favorite scholar have said. But like, come on, man. We really got to get it together. Like I always tell our people, we got to move towards the future. Our ancestors of the past, they didn't dwell on the past. Everything they did was for a better future. This group right now, this generation, no matter which organization it is, keep looking backwards. But we're supposed to move forward. And then we blame everybody else while we're not getting anywhere. But here you got Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, people who are literally enslaved, literally with no rights, no constitutional rights or anything, did so much more. Dr. King was a young man, accomplished so much more than everybody who called him a coon and a sellout. Where's our resumes at? I'm trying to have an extensive resume and be welcomed with open arms when it's time to transition. I want the ancestors to be like, yo, you did a good job. Proud of you. But we want to regurgitate and live other people's lives. You ain't Malcolm and you ain't Dr. Khaled, homie. You just be you. Stop all the yelling and all the fiery rhetoric and come on.
But I think in those generations, they were held accountable. Harriet was crossing people. Harriet was crossing people. Those people took that risk with her. Her accountability was to make sure that those people get to their destination alive. That's accountability. Whether it's them holding her accountable or self-accountability, that's accountability. There is no accountability today.
There is this.
That we went.
It wasn't always peaches and cream with Harriet Tubman. She went back for her husband.
She kept going back because she was accountable to him. She felt it. She felt it. Excuse me?
Did her husband go back with her?
No.
Nope. Not him.
No.
He said, I got a new wife. She said, bring her too.
Yep.
He's like, nah.
No, we good. We good. But she
gonna meet that resistance. Hear me real quick, sister. I'm pass you the mic. We got to focus our energy on those who want to get free. And I know my decades of being in this movement, that's what I see. We keep trying to create converts as opposed to building for people to have something to come to. You build it, they'll come. Nobody want to hear this rhetoric. Look, we got the school down in Wilmington, Delaware. Where the people at? Because there ain't no accountability. You got to build something real and tangible. Then the people will pop out and show up. A lot of stuff is rhetoric. And internet done made everybody armchair revolutionaries. You don't got no evidence of them really organizing and getting the people together. In fact, I was having a conversation with somebody and I forgot, they reminded me, I forgot that I had rented a bus for Dr. Francis Cress Welson's funeral. But if y'all can remember, it was a horrible snowstorm. And the funeral was postponed. It was up and down the East Coast. So they canceled it. And when they did reschedule it, I had a family obligation that I was committed to. So I couldn't go. But I remember that Africa trips, really working with Sister Keisha, all of us doing what we doing right now, because enough people aren't having these conversations about us getting our community together. Everybody's focused on the wrong things. I'm looking at YouTube. I'm looking at the old school gangsters who 55, 60 something plus still acting like they're in high school, talking about pull up, run up. And these are certified gangsters. Where's the growth? As men, when do you grow from a gangster to a man? And accountability is us speaking on it, checking them. So I won't say there's no accountability, sis. This conversation is accountability. And those in the chat, those who watching on the playback, like, subscribe, share, give it to somebody you may know who need it. Send it to Dr. Sukiana. Send it to him and clip my part about treating your family right. You're dead wrong. But everybody wants to be a leader. But a lot of people don't have leadership quality and skills. And I think you and I had this conversation before, Sister Marcia. To be an effective leader, you have to organize the people. You have to be part of an organization, because if not, who are you leading? What's your goal? What's your objective? Where are you taking the people to? The pimp of Pan-African, leading the Pan-African community, is only sending people to Venmo and Cash App because PayPal shut down. So where is he taking?
And you forgot about Zelle.
Right, Zelle. Yeah, and Zelle. You know, so people aren't really building anything. And I'm going to end it with this. When I was at Dr. Ben's funeral, Reverend Calvin Butts threw a shot. Our folks be so in their ego, they missed it. He said, this man spent so much of his life trying to denounce Christianity, but where do y'all have to have his funeral? I said, wow. Bam, bam, bam. All these organizations, where's our building? Where's our meeting place? All these people who've been here for decades. I ain't gonna say centuries. Some of them damn near a century old.
Almost centuries.
Decades. Since the 60s. They've been in this movement. Each organization know the other. Why they don't put the money together and say, let's get this building, a multi-purpose building for us? Because the egos, the Negroism that still exists, we don't know how to share because it's big I's and little U's. I'm the prince of this. I'm the first one to do that. I'm the king of this. I'm the king and queen of that. And that is our hindrance. other communities. I don't know who the leader of the gay community is. I don't know who the leader of the white community is. I don't know who the leader of the Chinese community is.
I do.
But I know who the leader of the Pan-African community.
I do.
Who says?
I'm going to show you who the leader of the white community is as soon as you finish your spew. Go ahead.
I'm done. Is it Jesus?
And just how it goes right into divine order. Now, we in playoff season of the NBA, that is. Playoff season. If you want to know who controls your presidents, who controls your, I'm going to leave Black to stay muted, who controls your local government, who controls your local politicians, all are at the playoff games. The leaders of real estate, the leaders of crypto, the leaders of military, all of it was at the Knick game last night, even though the cameras were showing you the celebrities on the floor. They never show you who in the goddamn skybox. But see, I'm a political analyst.
Get him, sis.
It's what I do. It's what I do. Who was in the goddamn skybox? It don't matter if your city or your state is in the playoffs. I want you to Google who are the who's who of whatever state you're living in, business elite. Same way I got it right there. The same way I got it right there. I'm giving you a gem right now. They will tell you all of what I'm going to give you right now. And these are the people that control your presidents and everybody else. Okay? Here we go. Who was at the Knick game last night? Okay, let's start with finance and investment titans. Here we go. Steven Schwarzman, Blackstone CEO. Larry Fink, BlackRock Chairman and CEO. David Earnhardt, Greenlight Capital. Come on, the twins who used to own the 76ers. All their money is funneled through the NBA. Stop playing with me over here. There was business meetings that were going on through these playoff games, and y'all had no clue. So when you say, well, who's controlling Hakeem Jeffries? Who controls Eric Adams? Who controls Governor Hochul? Who controls New York City Council? Who decides who should run for president? They are always at these games. Either this or the NFL. Tech and media moguls. Let's go. Bloomberg. Jeff Bezos. Mark Larcy. Let's go. James Dolan, who owns the Knicks. Stop playing. Barry Diller, IAC chairman. Real estate and power brokers. Why is the rent too damn high? And why does it continue to rise? Because these are the guys who say so. Stephen Roth, Gary Barnett, this coon Don Peebles, the crypto brothers. If you don't know, this is your homework assignment. Find out who the hell these people are. Then you will no longer ask any question, because sometimes I get this question, Siski, you need to run for office. You need to run for governor. Well, until you get a legal defense fund and a legal defense team so that I can go up against these folks right here, the answer is no. You don't know what it takes. Legal and political heavyweights. Who was there? Reek Bahara, Governor Kathy Hochul, and your mayor. Taking meetings. And you're busy watching the game. These are the people that control everything. This is power, including your military. This is power that you will never see them mullying around with Jay-Z and the rest of them on the court. They're in the suites, holding private meetings. Next week when I come back, I'm going to show you what they discussed in those meetings because it's going to blow your mind. That's why I don't play with this foolishness people come with. I don't. I go right to the source. Right to the source. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Did y'all know any of these people was at the game last night? And why they were there? Go ahead, Brother Tad, you muted.
You know, I ain't even into sports. I care less. I mean, I'm into what you're talking about, the power brokers and what plans do they have for everybody else. I was thinking today, like, people really took the jab. God bless my mama. But now it's like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. Like, oops, my bad. Like nothing happened.
There's a reason why, people brush it off, Brother Tad. That mind control is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug. And when those of us in the know, that matrix veil has long been lifted, right? But you got so many people that's still covered. They're still covered. They watched the movie about 45 times and still ain't get it. Still ain't get it. But I'm telling you that these are the power brokers that were at the game last night in a suite together, having a meeting you know nothing about. But next week, I'm going to tell y'all every detail that was in that meeting. If you want to know,
Can't give us a hint, Sister Keisha?
If you wanted to destroy all of the business elite in the United States, these are the outings you must attend. If somebody just went crazy, they could have got them all in one shot. I'm telling you, this is how it goes down.
Allegedly.
Basketball, playoff games, football playoff games, and the golf course. Nowhere else where they have these conglomerates meeting together like this. Nowhere else. But, I want y'all to research a little bit better. I put in the chat also the full website for nativeblacancestry.com. I put that in there as well because there's a lot of history that I think you all will find very interesting. And then I want you all to look up your family names and see if you see them on any of those lists and come back next week and let us know on what it is that you found. We have come to the end of our program, family. So let's get our final thoughts and commentary, Brother Blak.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Name of the game I see as we speak and at this current time is distraction. So, as Brother Tad mentioned earlier, we got the Diddy trial. We hear all the revelations going out. Last week, it did start out slow. It picked up a lot of steam. I don't know if y'all keeping up with it, but the first 2 days he looked bored and like, yo, let's get this over with. I want to get back to my lifestyle and so on. On the third day, they heard a testimony from the grave in a dude named Prince Rogers Nelson. I don't know if y'all keeping up on it. I'm keeping up on the court aspect. I'm not keeping up on the gossip aspect. I'm keeping up on the proceedings. And that was the smoker. So if you want, go on my page on Facebook. I'm putting it there intermittently. I'm not trying to cover the whole thing. I'm just getting the bits of information that I need to know that this dude is going to do forever in prison. On the Tory Lanez level, it's already kind of apparent that what they said didn't happen the way it did. And hopefully he'll get out soon. I don't know if he's still in the hospital, but if he go back to prison, he's a dead man. R. Kelly may testify in the Diddy trial, so it's going to warm up. And this is why, we mentioned this last week, Brother Tad, this is why, even though it's a RICO, he don't have no co-defendant, because a lot of these people turned states and they had to keep it sealed because these people are in danger. Usher testified on Monday, I believe. So, and he gave some heavy testimony too. He even talked about how he handed him off to Bieber, and then he found out Bieber was going through the same thing he already had went through in what's called the flavor camp. Solar flares like a mug coming down. I put that on my page all the time too, and they're getting heavier and heavier. There was another blackout. I don't remember where. I believe somewhere in the Middle East. And we're going to get more and more and more because we're at a solar maximum now. What that means is solar flares are going to be off the chain. And they're going to be M's and X's. Those are the three main ones are A's, M's, and X's. And the last probably 7 or 8 have been mostly X's. I'm not too up on it at the moment. So know that the environment is changing. And with that changing, we're going to change. And everything is changing. I still believe that President Trump is doing everything according to our plan as a result of being mandated by the Galactic Federation. If you want to keep up with me, I'm at melaninstitute.blogspot.com. My name is Basil Medina on Facebook. Keep up with me. We got a lot of other things coming on. I'm doing another show, and we supposed to be coming with something new. I'm not going to mention it on this show until it's actually live. And with that said, I love y'all. Stay up. Y'all up in the powder keg. So, keep that head on super swivel. And we'll see you next week on the Brooklyn Bridge. Peace and one love.
Black, I ain't give you a womp today. You've been on your best behavior.
Hey, we ain't done yet.
I guess it's on me. I didn't get no introduction. Thank you, Black. Thank you for not seeing me.
There you go, Tad, right there.
No, don't you do it. Okay. Any which way.
Apologies, yeah.
I'm gonna bring you in right, sis. Marcia.
Thank you, Brother Ted. With that said, thank you for always a great lesson, Sister Keisha. Great dialogue, brothers. It's always good. I just wanted to say that, have a few points on the discussion today. Number one, I love the pilgrimage because 12 years ago, 13 years ago, when I started going, that's when I identified that I had family outside of corporate America, whether I had them in my hands or not. That's when I identified that. That's when I truly became immersed in removing all the stigmas that I grew up with and becoming my full self. So I will always do the pilgrimage. And nowadays I do the pilgrimage, one, to see the elders and to kiss them and to thank them for their service, two, to network. And I met two fabulous sisters during this pilgrimage. One is a jazz singer on a boat, and another one, my cohort on Africans on the Rise is Mama D, and she used to do vending work with Mama D way back when, before, and so it was really good to see them connect, see them to like relive their glory days as vendors at different events. So that was really good. So for me, that is my main thing about getting to the pilgrimage. I don't need to get there early like I used to be. I needed to be there on time. Now I get there when I get there because I know what time everything's starting now. So that's that. Drugs and content, I think they have a parallel. I think we should explore that. I think, and it all comes down to money. People will do anything for money. They need the latest everything. And so they're going to do everything for money and put, even at the time when it was drugs and people, our generation was selling drugs and older, it was, just about making sure mama's rent was paid, this and that was paid, there's something else. But now it's their children or even grandchildren that are looking like, I still need to have that quick money that my mama used to bring home. So I think it's something that we could explore. hey, we're all arrested develop in some form. Knocking Dr. Umar for his inability to parent is his arrested develop. He never grew up. He never knew how to parent. I don't know why, but that's unfortunate, especially since that is his quote unquote to fame. I can help you rear children and help children get out of these systems that the man has us in terms of ADHD. So that's sad that we all have something. And let's see, cultural and intercultural. Anyway, we got to look back the way you were talking about the Choctaw and all those other ancestral lineage points that we have to look back, but we have to learn the lesson and gain more accountability in our lives. And, it's always his truth, her truth, the truth that we don't want to speak on, and the truth that's the truth. So with all of that said, let's try to find the truth, because there's always the truth that someone doesn't want to talk about. So let's talk about it. Have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great everything. My garden is looking pretty. I can't even see it these past few days, but I'm doing some different things in the garden. So when it's ready, I'm going to, do an open call for everybody to come get them vegetables for $2. But with all of that said, may time flourish. And if it may not, make it flourish. Fight with it. It's yours. Do what you can with it. Brother Tad?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for rocking out with us today. It definitely feel good to be back. I hope somebody was inspired by something they heard today. And I mean that sincerely. I normally close with that remark. But we're here to inspire everyone. We're here to give proper information. As Sister Keisha always, always, always dropping the bombs on us. Didn't know all of these power brokers were there, but it makes sense. And we talked about power earlier tonight. What do power mean to us? And we want you to be powerful. This is why we give you this information. This is why we're not talking about the freaky deaky trial and all of that stuff. And we're not talking about the pedos from Abercrombie and Fitch. We want you to be empowered. We want you to start digging deeper and start looking below the surface of what's given to us. And even when you get below that, go a little deeper, because there's so much information out there, and we don't have to be stuck in this proverbial rut we find ourselves in. Our brother Blak has been speaking with the Galactic Confederation. He's going to see what's going on with Trump and Musk. Hopefully, he could get us some intel on that.
Galactic Federation.
Galactic Federation. And tell Captain Kirk I said what's cracking. Right? So hopefully y'all were inspired by something you heard here tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. Don't forget OG Wisdom every Sunday. We took the past few Sundays off. Some people have personal reasons, but we be back this Sunday. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Thank you, each and every one of you for coming out Thursdays to rock out with us. Tell somebody it goes down every Thursday right here. Now, I believe Sister Farnessa asked the question, did they ever find out what happened with that boat that hit the Brooklyn Bridge? Apparently, the captain and the engineer never heard Lil' Kim's light, right? Didn't she say you better have a pass when you cross that bridge? But apparently, you don't listen. You see the Baba Louie, Mr. Belt? Shout out to Brother Belt. Brother Belt in the chat. The Baba Louie always doing something they ain't got no business. So, that's what happened. But, who knows? But before I go, I have to give some announcements. This weekend, Memorial Day weekend in New York City, Brooklyn is Dance Africa. All the vendors is out there. Time to get wrapped for the summer. I hope I'll be out there Sunday, because life is life for me right now. I got a lot of things going on personally. But anyway, I will be out there. Me and Sister Brooke rock out with my swap sisters. We're going to be out there. But anyway, I want to give a happy 86th birthday to Aunt Pauline. Shout out to Aunt Pauline and tomorrow. My dear mother would have been 74 years young. So, Mommy, I hope I'm continuing to make you proud and doing the things that you said that I should do in this world. And you gave me the green light when you took your last breath. I always got you with me. Be out. Good night, y'all.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blak Smith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary ways.